TV's gone off. Oh, yes. Oh, what an issue. There we go. You can see what I'm doing now. So annoyed with that.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Unlocked series. So stage 3 of the Unlocked series finds us on Scotland after party. You know what an after party means? It means it finishes on a climb. So as you'll see from the little clip beforehand, the first time didn't go to plan. So my TV turned off, then I don't know, it wouldn't come back on, and because the way my laptop screen was tilted, I couldn't actually see what was going on. So I had to quickly jump off the bike, reconnect it, and then OBS wouldn't connect to it, so I managed to get it back on. But by that point, I was right at the back of the pack, and my legs had had a few seconds off the bike, and I think my head broke, if I'm honest. You've got to get your head in the game before the bottom of that climb, and to kind of get back in the game at the bottom of the climb, just kind of really stung me in. So I thought I'd jump back on today, right, and do the Scotland after party again. So it is 14.8k, right? However, it's got a 1.2k lead in, so it's 13.6k the actual route. So it's 4 laps of the Glasgow Crit Reverse. So that means you go up the Clyde Kicker Reverse 4 times before then hitting the Sgurr Summit North, which a lot of people didn't realise was a thing, right? A few people thought there was just the Sgurr Summit, right? But there's not. There's the north and the south side. Like I say, a bit late in the week for me to do this because Monday I actually raced in the Army e-racing series in stage 1, and that's on the channel if you want to go back and have a watch of it. If not, let's have a look at my second attempt this week at this race. Enjoy.
There's some big hitters in this one today. Well, it's 20 in this. The more than the other day. First power up. Come on, the feather. Yes.
So there's about 20 riders in this now. I think eventually on Zwift Companion it says 19, so I don't know if someone dropped out quite early. But there's some big hitters in this, and I'm going to sit in as much as I can, rest every single lap, and then kind of prepare for what's coming up. So we'll go down past the church now. What I would say is try and stay over to the left hand side here, because it is obviously a left turn up to the start of the first lot of inclines before the Clyde Kicker Reverse. So you can just cut the corner a little bit and position yourself a little bit better, and you'll see I start moving myself over now.
First incline, first indication of how things are going to go.
So I don't surge on these, I just tend to go up a couple of gears and just slow my cadence down and just put a little bit of power down, but nothing too much. I don't want to go right to the front, but I want to be near the front so that on the downhill I'm not trying to catch back on. Just then get back down a couple of gears. I do save the feather for the second part of the climb, so we've got the rollers coming up now, and then once these rollers, there's a little bit of downhill before the Clyde Kicker Reverse final climb, so I'll use the power up at the bottom of that. So the power ups are doubled in length at the time on these, so again you'll see I just drop a couple of gears, I'll go up a couple of gears I should say, and then just, I don't panic, I just kind of dance to the middle of the pack and then just come off the power again. And you'll see I've still got half the feather there, so I probably could have used it a little bit further back if I needed to. And now's a bit of recovery while the rest of them who are a little bit further back are chasing on. And just sit down and spin the pedals and sit in the draft.
Right, that's the pace getting lifted.
So it was at this point, Martin on your right hand side there pushes through with these lovely Halo bike and aero socks, and just spreads the pack out a little bit. And at first I thought this was a move, so I was like, maybe I should try and get up there and stay with it. But then my head was saying, it's early, it's really, really early, and we still have 3 more summits of the Clyde Kicker and before the Sgurr Summit North, so I kind of don't want to burn any matches. Or is he, because he's such a strong rider, that I'd have a look at his stuff beforehand, Izzy just trying to kind of whittle down the pack a little bit, because it was slowing at points there, but then the rest of the pack catches up now, so it's not really a major attack, and he comes off the pedals as we start getting round these climbs. Or did he come off the pedals, or did they just push on a little bit? It kind of looks a little bit like the group pushed on to catch him, but I didn't. I stayed level-headed and did exactly like I did in the first lap, and just went up a couple of gears and powered through, and again saved my feather for the next part of the climb. Okay, so I didn't learn from the last lap because I didn't pay much attention, but I used the feather at the bottom again. I probably could have used it a little bit further back on some more of the rollers. And I found that they took this ascent of the Clyde Kicker Reverse a little bit easier than the previous ones. Again, I didn't power through. I just made sure that I was staying in contact and getting the draft, and straight into recovery mode again. So the group stayed together pretty well up until about this point, where I felt like the front guys decided just to kind of stretch us out a little bit, which I'm totally fine with. I think the pace needed to be risen a little bit, and it just kind of puts the sting in some other people's legs. This is, to be honest, these crit circuits are some of my favourite things, so I'm more than happy to put the hammer down on this. But because we've got such a naughty climb at the end, then I kind of wanted to save some energy for that. And if like clockwork, here's Martin again, uses his feather. He's debatable at this point, but again pushes to the front and just stretches us out, just kind of puts the hammer down, makes everyone chase, but we're chasing to the base of the inclines, so is he just kind of wearing everyone else's legs out, and you can see there's a little bit of a split here, but I just don't panic because the group's big enough to kind of pull back, so I'm just sitting in and open the watts but not surging. Just don't want to spike the heart rate or anything like that. And there was a brief moment where I looked at this and went, I think they're splitting into 3 groups here. Do I need to bridge? But we've got the incline, and I know that I normally sail to the front on the incline, so I thought I'll just leave it exactly how it was, and then we'll see what happens when I go around this corner. And again, you can use the steering if you want to use the steering to cut the corner a little bit. And you can see I'm in the back of the 3rd group here on the road, and I just do exactly the same as what I've done every lap. I just go up a couple of gears and just power through, and you'll see that the group's just coming back together. So no need to panic there. The move was covered off quite well by some of the other riders, but I was mindful that if it didn't, I might need to put a shift in to get across. And before you know, I'm back in the pack. I would say chilling, but definitely not chilling at a 179 heart rate. So I didn't notice that there was a gap until the corner turned, and then I just had to put a little bit more power in just to make sure that I was still on the back of everyone's wheels. But I'm looking on the right hand side and there isn't many orange numbers coming out. It was 1 or 2, so this wasn't kind of a big surge by the group. I think I just lost contact by not paying attention. He's did it once, he's did it twice. You guessed it, here he comes. Martin comes through again, just to spread the pack out. But I think everyone this time was kind of a little bit more on point with it, and one of the riders instantly bridged. But because this is closing in on the last time that we're going to go around this, it is a little bit more dangerous. And I think a few of the riders up front kind of noticed that, so they made sure that it was closed down. But you can see that the pack is starting to really get stretched out now, and I haven't got a feather this time, unfortunately. I've got the draft, but I'm in contact with all of these here prior to getting to the bottom of this first incline, so I'm not worried. But then I see the first lot turn the corner, and that then worries me a little bit, so I just make sure that a few extra watts go down to close the gap. Some orange numbers going all over the place. So this was a little bit more of a punchy climb than the previous ones, but it's to be expected on the last lap. So I just have to make sure that I stay in touch with these, and you can see that there's still a couple off the front there, so I just start making my way further up the pack in preparation for the final time up the Clyde Kicker. And the good thing is obviously the draft, I'll have that over the top as well. So on the downhill, if there is a big surge, then I've got an opportunity to try and get back on. But I was kind of mid pack going up this, so I didn't have to put massive watts down where there was some that were a little bit too further back who had to hit some orange numbers to make sure that they stayed together. So now we're going to push on into the countryside then for the Sgurr Summit North. So from now to the base of that is just all about recovery. So as we come to the base of the climb, we turn off the roundabout. We've still got quite a large pack here, which I was really surprised about. But actually, I just realised I had a feather as well. So I've got to keep that in the back of my mind. And normally, I would say use the feather when you get to the hardest part of the circuit. And this first part is quite draftable, even though we're still doing above 5 watts per kilo for majority of it. It is a hard effort, but it is draftable, so you are getting some benefit by sucking on the wheels, and you can see that some riders are starting to kind of drop off the back now, me included, and I'm working really hard here just to try and stay on. And then we get to the first kind of orange part, and I have to get up out the saddle. And I think at this point I was like, I'm going to need to use the feather just to stay in contact, and I noticed a few others were doing the same as well. So although I would have loved to have saved it to the end, I did look, and I am the heaviest rider in this whole pack. So I think my head's saying the last part, which is steeper, I'm probably not going to be able to stay with a lot of these lighter riders. For as much as I love a bit of guts and glory, I am in the hurt locker now, so heart rate's above 180. And I'm just trying to stay with these. But I remember from Ali Jones's video, that ramp there that we've just gone up, I made sure that I was near the front for that, so that I didn't get dropped there. But then we get onto the hardest part of the climbs, and I just start to feel the effort they're putting in, I can't match. And some of them now we've got feathers, and they're lighter than me already, and they've got feathers, and it doesn't matter that I get out the saddle, they just ride away, and I'm doing like 5.9 watts per kilo, and they just ride away from me, which is just soul destroying. And then these two go past me as well, and I thought my head was going to fall off at this point. I was like, oh no, right. And then I grizzed a little bit back, managed to overtake one of them, and then I kind of set my sights on the guy up ahead, and can I get at least one more place to try and equal or better what I did the other day. But at this point, my legs have just fell off. I think this climb's not one for the heavier riders, because it's just a little bit too long and punchy. I don't mind the long climbs. And then I do notice that the two riders behind are getting within 3 seconds, and we've only got a couple of 100 meters, and that can be easily closed on a route like this. So I've got to try and keep it well above 4.5 watts per kilo just to try and manage the gap. And then we get to the last ramp, and it's down to 2 seconds and 1 second, and I am struggling. So I do just have to give it one last dig, just to make sure that I cross the line in the place that I'm in. I don't think I'm going to catch the guy up ahead, but I don't want to lose another place. And the great thing is, although I finished 10th again, I did improve my time by like almost 45 seconds from the other day. Well guys, that was better than what I did the other day. Weirdly, I finished in 10th place on the first time, and I finished in 10th place on this time as well. But I think this field was a little bit stronger looking at on paper. So I got another bump in racing score. So I'm now at 753, so I got a bump of 5 on that. But what I didn't mention in the beginning of the video was I did lose my pace category A this week, so I'm a little bit devastated with that. But that's fine. It is because I'm lazy, and I don't do a lot of work on the front, so I do save watts and hide in the draft, which means my Z map dropped below 4.2 watts per kilo as average for the last 90 days. But I do work really hard at keeping my watts low within a race so that I've got something for the finish. So I dropped down to B. So a little bit gutted with that, but at the same time, it opens up some options for ZRL. It means I can compete in the A cat and the B cat if needs be. I'm probably going to stick with the A cat because I am racing in advanced racing, so I think I should be racing in A cat. But I might have to help out the B cat team when they're shorter riders as well, or if the A cat team's oversubscribed. But this one, I don't think I'll do it again. Normally I do a revisited, but I haven't got time this week. I'm doing this on a Thursday, and I've got a few things on over the next few days. So I think the revisited series is going to take a little bit of a back step for the time being. Plus, I'm not a fan of that Sgurr Summit North, so I'll have to put a pin in that one. But I did think that the middle part around Glasgow was pretty easy for me. I kind of prepare every lap for just an effort on the hill, and the rest of the time just kind of sitting in and recovering. And I kind of hope that if you do that, just sit in and recover throughout the rest of the lap, and just prepare for a minute or so effort up the two little ramps for the Clyde Kicker Reverse. And if you get a feather, you'll see in that I saved it for the final climb. And normally I would just save it for the very top, but I kind of needed it at that point to keep as much contact as I could. And I think that was a smart move, because I think I probably would have finished a little bit further back if I hadn't have used it when I used it. But on to stage 4 next week. Let's see how that goes. And yeah, more advanced racing, more getting our backside kicked. But if you've enjoyed this, drop a comment, like, but more importantly, subscribe so you don't miss out on any more racing. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.